You ever get that feeling, that little bit of anxiety that creeps in, telling you that the whole idea of a stable, predictable career, the one our parents had, just isn't a thing anymore? Well, you're definitely not alone. We are living through a massive, massive shift in how we work. And it's got a lot of us wondering, is my job actually safe? So let's dive in and figure out what's really going on.
Okay, to really get a handle on this hidden risk, we have to talk about turkeys. I know, sounds weird, but stick with me. This idea comes from Nassim Taleb. So imagine you're a turkey. Life is great. Every single day, a friendly butcher feeds you. And with every meal, you get more and more confident that this is how life works. Based on all the data you have, the day before Thanksgiving is the best day ever. Your confidence is at its peak. And then, well, you know what happens next. That right there is the perfect metaphor for the safe job. The risk is building up silently, hidden by that steady paycheck, until the one day it all comes crashing down. So this really boils down to two different paths you can take today. On the left, you've got Max. He's playing by all the old rules, right? He's working crazy hours, he's grateful for that tiny raise, he's putting in his time. But he's living the turkey problem. He's anxious, and he has no idea about the silent risk that's building up. Now look at Rand on the right. He bounced. He quit that same path. On the surface, his life looks way riskier. No guaranteed paycheck, working out of his parents' basement. But here's the key. He's getting real, instant feedback from the actual market. He's not accumulating silent risk, he's adapting and learning in real time.
So what's actually causing all this? Why is Max's safe path all of a sudden so dangerous? Well, there are some huge, and I mean huge, forces at play that are fundamentally rewriting the rules of the economy. Take a look at this. We're not just in a little dip or a recession, we are in a completely new economic era. It used to be that the limit to progress was things like land or money or capital. But now, in what the source material here calls the entrepreneurial economy, the main thing holding us back is entrepreneurship itself. It's the ability to solve messy, complex problems, the kind of stuff you just can't learn from a textbook.
And then just think about the competition. Because of the internet, you're not just up against the person in the cubicle next door, or even people in your own city. You are now competing in a global talent pool. 7 billion people. That completely changes the game when it comes to the supply and demand for your skills.
This famous quote from Mark Andreessen pretty much sums up the other big disruptor, technology. I mean, think about it. When was the last time you rented a movie from Blockbuster or got photos developed from Kodak? Companies like Netflix and Instagram didn't just compete with them, they completely devoured their entire industries. And the lesson is clear. Any job that's based on a set of repeatable tasks is at risk of being eaten by software.
So, this new world we find ourselves in is often called the gig economy. The whole idea of a long-term stable job is fading. Instead, it's a market full of freelancers and independent contractors who take on short-term projects, usually connected through platforms like Upwork or Uber. It's the natural result of all that globalization and technology we just talked about.
Now there's a reason so many people are flocking to this. The upside is pretty incredible, right? You get a level of flexibility and freedom that a traditional 9-to-5 could never offer. You can work on all sorts of different projects, which helps you build new skills, and it forces you to start thinking like an entrepreneur. You have to manage your own time, find your own work, and build your own brand.
But, and this is a really big but, let's be real about the downsides. They are significant. Job security, it's basically gone. And forget about benefits like health insurance, paid vacation, or a retirement plan. That can lead to some serious financial instability. It's a trade-off, no question about it, and it's a pretty major one.
Okay, so if the old path is broken and the gig economy is kind of a double-edged sword, what's a person supposed to do? Well, the argument here is that the most practical response isn't to go looking for another safe job. It's to embrace the entrepreneurial path as the new kind of safety. This brings us right back to our turkey friend. A traditional job is like the slow lane. It hides that silent risk, the risk that your skills are slowly becoming worthless behind a nice steady paycheck. Entrepreneurship, that's the fast lane. And yeah, it's volatile, it's bumpy, but that volatility is feedback. If you don't make a sale, you know immediately that something's wrong and you're forced to adapt. That constant low-level stress actually makes you stronger, more resilient. I know what you're thinking. Become an entrepreneur? That sounds absolutely terrifying. But it doesn't have to be some giant leap of faith off a cliff. The stair-step method makes it way more practical. The key is you don't quit your job. You start a small side project first, maybe an online store or a little piece of software. You grow that income on the side, and only when it can replace your salary, then you can make the leap. It's building a bridge, not jumping into the unknown. But what if you don't even have an idea? That's the biggest roadblock for so many people. Well, entrepreneur James Altucher has a simple daily practice for this. He says you need to exercise your idea muscle. Every single day, just write down 10 ideas. They don't have to be amazing billion-dollar ideas. They can be ideas for anything. The point isn't about the quality at first, it's about training your brain to see opportunities everywhere.
All right, so we've talked about the big picture and some practical steps, but honestly, the single most important change isn't what you do on the outside, it's how you think on the inside. To really thrive in this new world, you have to make a huge psychological shift away from needing other people to tell you you're doing okay.
Just think about this for a second. The entire corporate world is built on external validation. You have a boss, a job title, an annual review. All these things are designed to tell you where you stand. But when you step off that path, whether you're a freelancer or starting your own thing, all of that vanishes. So who fills that void? Who tells you you're on the right track?
The answer is, you have to. This is the absolute critical skill of self-validation. It's about learning to recognize your own effort, to accept your feelings as valid, and to be your own source of encouragement. It's about detaching your self-worth from what other people think. Approval from others becomes a nice bonus, not something you desperately need.
We all have that voice in our head, right? That inner critic that's constantly saying, you're not good enough, you're not moving fast enough, this isn't working. When you're on an uncertain path, that voice can be absolutely paralyzing.
But here's the cool part. You can learn to talk back. A validating response isn't about lying to yourself or pretending failure is success. No, it's about shifting your focus from the outcome to the effort. It's about being able to say, you know what? I tried my best, I learned something, and I'm proud of myself for just putting myself out there.
And this is a skill you can actually practice just like anything else. Here are some simple, powerful phrases you can start using. When you're frustrated, tell yourself it's normal to feel this way. If you mess up, remind yourself everyone makes mistakes. The key is to make this an active, conscious habit. This is how you build the mental armor you need to handle the ups and downs of the new economy.
When you boil it all down, this whole shift from jobs to entrepreneurship, from needing external approval to finding it within yourself, it's all about one thing: taking back control. The old roadmaps are gone, the script has been torn up, and while that can feel terrifying, it's also the greatest opportunity we have. It's the freedom and the responsibility to write your own story. So the only real question left is, what's your story going to be?